Hi. Okay. I'm doing the chart of Israel Folau and uh, why all of a sudden, he's in the public eye over something he's saying, etc. So he's kind of, I don't know if you guys remember when I talked about Doreen Virtue. So he's kind of done that kind of a thing and he can't come back from it. So I explain it elementally, then you'll understand it can happen in a day, and there goes everything, basically. So in his chart, there's one thing that dominates the chart is that, hi Judy, how's Sandra? In his chart, there's one thing that dominates, and whatever is dominating, it's called a penalty. So that penalty, it's very, very hard for him to come back from because the penalty is what he says and it's what he says. So I've done it in a way so hopefully everyone gets to understand it that little bit better. And to show you that when you are not in a good home, nothing is actually going to save you. So, so nothing is actually going to save him because he's just going to get down, 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 down more. Okay. Especially this month, well, the month of June, because it's not actually over until the 7th. So it's still got 5 more days to go. Okay. And then after that, does it get better for him? Not really. Okay. So the deed is from November last year, it became harder for him to come out of it. So I'll explain it. If you listen, you can always play it back because I'll post it and then you'll understand. So he is what we call yin water. Now, yin water is very intelligent, but you never get to see it because it's down here, not here with the blue sky shining on it beautifully. It's hidden. So there's a lot hidden here. So we're not actually getting the full story at all. Okay. So he is that yin water, and his wife is yang earth. So she's this solid mountain. She's a ghostbuster. She's actually stronger than he is. She is basically his rock, his Uluru. It's like Uluru on Uluru. That's how strong this woman is. So here is this water, and what he sits on, as in animal wise, element wise, he sits on his money. Now, there's money here, there's money here, there's money here. Multi-million dollars, that kind of thing. Okay, so I wanted to do the chart because why is he doing the GoFundMe page when this guy that tells me he's got a lot of money? So I had to do the chart to find out what's going on. So for this person, so even if it wasn't him, if it was somebody else, so yin water. Now, this yin water has just now at 30 in April come into 30 to 40. He's just turned 30 this year. So from 30 to 40, he's in bad luck for 10 years. So if anybody does know him or knows somebody that knows him, he needs to wear an ox for 10 years because it's called a penalty. And a penalty is a slap in the face every time he opens his mouth because it's on his expression and what he says about people like himself, which is humans, human beings. Okay. And so where I've circled, that's his expression. So that's when he says the wrong thing and he gets in trouble for it. So he did that in August 2014. That's his expression. It got him in trouble. No, it didn't get him in trouble there. Hi, Carol. So that's his expression. His expression sits on fire, which is money. And so what actually happened here? He actually was on the cover of a gay magazine, the biggest gay magazine, and it was called Boys and Their Balls, and it was to promote one of the cups that was actually happening here in Australia. So there's his expression, and it just was ching, 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 ching. Now, don't forget, this guy's intelligent, sits on money, and he is very good at the game of rugby. 2015, again, he had expression. But this expression, the animal that it sits on, the goat, is pressure. Because before he turned 30, he was in another animal, which we call the ox. So the ox and the goat, kapow. So all it took was a year to challenge that 10-year cycle, even though it was on the end of it. Okay. September, he went against the yes vote. He said, I'm not voting yes, blah, 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 blah. And he really, made it more than what it was. And here again, in 2017, this is a rooster, and it attacks this rabbit. Everything he says is actually in penalty, 2017. So do you see how it builds up? Then that attack was on him speaking about what he thinks and his ideas. Okay. And because these are romance flowers, it's emotional. It's on an emotional level. So whatever he's going to say, it's going to hit people on an emotional level. And it's really funny because there was a person at the tournament when he did this for that tournament, and he said that he is a strong advocate for ending all forms of discrimination in sport. All right, so don't know what happened there, right? Anyway, so then the 16th of the 6th, he gets told, no, you're not staying here. Hallelujah. So he says that he gets told he's not staying here. So on the 16th of the 6th, this year, he gave a sermon, right? He gave this sermon, and the sermon was that homosexuality is a sin, and gender, whatever change, is the devil's work. Okay. So again, he spoke up. That's the day he spoke up. There's again the wood. It's his expression. So anything he says is going to be very, very bad on this day. If he had done it the day before, may not have been as bad. The day after, worse. That sort of thing. So why is this the worst? Is because he has a rat from 30 to 40. The horse and the rat do not like each other. I call that a clash. So the snake here and the water, a clash. This and that, a clash. This and that, a clash. And then what he does is he starts a GoFundMe page. The GoFundMe page is what is on top here is his ideas, his thinking, and his resources. So he has a lot of support for this. What is the support? It's for money. But the thing is, that's the same horse as that. It's in clash, which means that anything he does collect cannot actually be used, or it lands in his hand and it's taken away. This can be like he gambles it or he gives it to somebody else, but he cannot keep it. Okay, so that's what's happened here. Now, is this going to change? And how did this start? So how this started as well is he actually was what's it called? He was already in a church at the same time, but then he moved to the Assembly of God where his father. So this is parents. The penalty is on parents. So who's behind all this? Remember with Doreen, her partner is her penalty. His parents are his penalty. I'm not bagging his parents. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. I'm explaining it elementally. So for him, and remember, this is for him, the year he's got 2 snakes. When he did this was a pig. So when he did it, when he said it, there was a clash, a penalty. Very hard to survive that. So in this as well, it's telling us that the money is taken away. It's called a travel star. So no one's actually going to, I doubt if he's going to be employed this year, as in go back to work. I doubt. And I don't think he will be for this 10 years. So for this 10 years, he is in penalty. Okay, he's in penalty on whatever he does. And keep in mind, before the third of the fourth came in, before he turned 30, he actually, in his, he 2019, he is the record holder of most tries scored in Super Rugby history. And they terminated his contract when he passed that. So, it was in the works. What he did was aggravate it more, because when he went back to the Sunday church, he said another thing about homosexuality. So he kept going. But who started this? Who kind of instigated it? Yes, it's his destiny. It's his destiny with his parent. So if he had stayed maybe at the assembly of the other church he was in, Halian, Hakez, so if he had stayed at the church he was in, he most likely would not be it would not be as bad as it is being with the parent. So when you go into partnership with somebody, that relationship, I don't know the father's birth chart or the mother's birth chart, but in his chart it tells me that this is a penalty, and that penalty is not going away until he turns 40. Okay, so if he leaves the Assembly of God church and maybe goes somewhere else, then this relationship isn't an everyday thing. Okay, so that's what's happened here. For me, I would say to him, you need to wear an ox for 10 years. He needs his home done, because this means he is not sleeping in a good energy at the same time. And keep in mind, his wife she's champion. She's, I think, a netballer or a basketballer, I can't remember. But she's a very sporty person as well. And she's kicking goals. Australia just beat a European country, and she's in that. So she's not affected by it. Will she be affected by it? Yes, she will. But at the moment, it's him. It's all his chart, nothing else. Okay. And if I was going to give him advice, I'd say go to another church, because it's where the parents are. That's the penalty. And that's what he did. He left the other church and went to this church. So it may not have been as bad, but now it is, because it is a parent thing. So that's what happens sometimes. Two people, when they are in the same space, it causes a challenge, it causes a penalty, etc. And a penalty is like a slap in the face. And that's how he feels. He's being slapped in the face. Wherever he is going, he's being slapped in the face. And he is this amazing player. Yet, this is what's happening in his chart. Okay? So hopefully that helps you understand pillars. Hi, Liz. So that helps you understand pillars on another level. But for him, he's been talking that way for a long, long time. And now, because it's all added up. So go back and listen to this a few times, because if you're not a Feng Shui student or a pillars student, it's going to take a little bit more to understand it, but you'll understand it. Hi, Alam. So this is why a legend of his game, and it's gone like this. Okay, it is not going to get better until he's 40 plus, I would say. Okay, hi, Deb. So that's what happens. Okay, so that's his destiny, his chart. If you know him or know someone that knows him, he needs an ox, and hi, Michelle, and he needs to be extra careful, and maybe move rooms, move his bed. Don't know. okay? That this is what's happening in his chart. So hopefully that helps you understand. This is what I do. I can tell you anything. You just give me a birthday, and I can talk all day about it, but you can't afford me for the day. So this is what I do, just a chart, and it helps you understand you. And that's why we do what we do, okay? I am doing a beginners in Kyala at the AOK Healing Centre. So it's only 3 days. So for those of you down that way, I know some of you didn't get my email because we just keep having those issues, but let that go for now. So I've sent out some texts as well. Let me know if you're interested. Michelle Newton is in charge of that place, beautiful place. And hopefully I'll get to go into the salt room. Okay, so again, go through it, understand that a little bit, and understand why one day can actually terminate whatever you have going for you. Okay, and his money sits on a travel star. So yes, he's accumulated a multi-million-dollar fortune, but I don't believe he has a cent of it, because here it says it's going elsewhere. It's on a travel star. And where is it going? It's an ancestral thing. So it could be going back to his country. You know, he's not a man that this water, that intelligence, that money it's going somewhere else. And, you know, it's to help people, obviously, because, yeah, he's got enough. I don't think he needs to stash it away. But I needed to know, because once he started the GoFundMe and I saw that, the day he did the GoFundMe in that month, it became a penalty, a clash, and he's already in clash, penalty, clash. Okay, so the ship basically has hit the fan and he's right under it in the same room. Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand. And come and do the course. Any questions? No? Okay. Please feel free to share it. It will be on YouTube, but please feel free to share it as well. All right. Good night.